I was wrist-deep in compost when I heard it. The scream. High-pitched, shrill, slicing through the calm like a banshee on Red Bull. I looked up just in time to see a woman in a rhinestone wedding dress flying through the air above my tomato beds, clutching a zipline handle with one hand and a bouquet in the other. Half a second later, splash! Right into the kiddie pool I'd filled with biodegradable green dye. Her wig flew off mid-air and landed square in my sunflowers. And me? I just tipped my straw hat and said the line I'd been saving for weeks. Told you not to fly over my land. Name's Vince. Vince Marshall. I don't usually look for conflict. Truth be told, I avoid it like a wasp's nest in summer. I live on 10 acres in a quiet patch of Ridge Valley, land my granddad bought back in the 50s. I raise chickens, grow heirloom tomatoes, and drink my coffee before the sun finishes stretching. I mind my land and expect others to mind theirs. Enter Courtney Langston. She moved into the McKinley subdivision next door about 6 months back and announced herself as the new HOA president like she was being crowned royalty. Picture a woman in a floppy sun hat, clipboard in one hand, Instagram Live in the other, and a voice like someone sandpapering a chalkboard. At first, it was harmless. Decorative torches along the shared road. Morning jazz blasting from a 2-story gazebo she built, without permits, might I add. Then came the zipline. Yeah, a zipline. Not a backyard swing, not a hammock. A full-on steel-cabled monstrosity stretching from her second-floor balcony across the fence line, right over my field and ending in her splash pad. First anchor? Bolted into one of my oak trees. I figured it had to be a joke. No sane adult drills into someone else's tree and runs a ride over their tomatoes. I marched up to her porch and knocked. She answered in sequins and holding a mimosa. I laid it out. Her zipline was crossing my land, and it had to come down. She tilted her head and said, and I quote, "Oh, Vince, don't be so territorial. It's just airspace." Just airspace. Next thing I know, her nephews are flying over my farm with GoPros strapped to their heads, whooping like Tarzan. One kid barfed mid-flight. My chicken coop still smells like strawberry slush. Another day, a flip-flop nailed me in the neck while I was trimming basil. And when one poor kid got stuck halfway across and hung there like a squeaky wind chime for 2 hours, that was my last attempt at diplomacy. Every time I confronted her, Courtney just smiled that smug influencer smile and said things like, "You should be grateful. Your crops are background gold." And she was right, in the worst way. Millions of views on her Sky Queen YouTube series. My property, my trees, my soil were in every single frame. No permission, no credit, no compensation. Then came her trial wedding. A content rehearsal. She flew down that damn cable in a bridal gown, tossing rose petals like she was descending from heaven, and landed in a pool filled with pink glitter water, half of which soaked into my compost pile. The smell? Imagine perfume mixed with rotting onions. I filed an official HOA complaint. They said since the zipline began and ended on her land, it wasn't their problem. I pulled out a survey. They waved it off. That's when I found out she was dating Darren, head of zoning for the HOA. Of course, I put up no trespassing signs, set up trail cams, built a scarecrow in the zip path, just hoping to make it a little less appealing. She filmed a parody video dressing the scarecrow like a bride, called it Mrs. Vince. That video hit 4 million views. Then came the day she really crossed the line, literally. One of her guests slammed into my greenhouse and wrecked half a season's worth of work. I handed Courtney the repair bill. She handed it back with lipstick on it and wrote LOL. I was done asking. I hired a professional surveyor, paid out of pocket. Results confirmed it. The zipline crossed 22 feet into my property, and that anchor was drilled illegally into my tree. I sent a cease and desist. Courtney framed it and hung it on her patio wall. So I made a plan. I wasn't going to hurt her. I just wanted to end the madness in a way she'd never forget. I designed a timed release mechanism on the anchor. Safe, but effective. Wouldn't snap. Just gently unhook after a certain tension threshold. I even placed the kiddie pool at the landing, filled it with green dye, and rigged it with motion sensor sprinklers. When the big day came, her so-called sky wedding, I acted like I didn't care. Just stood in the field watering cucumbers. She zipped out in a rhinestone gown, arms wide like some kind of glittering superhero. Right at the halfway mark, the line unlatched. Thunk. Down she went, straight into the pool. Splash. Screams. Silence. Then the cameras clicked. By the time her fake wedding cake started dissolving in the water, the video was already online. Sky Queen Gets Grounded was trending. Comments were brutal. But of course, Courtney didn't see that as defeat, just an opportunity to escalate. Later that night, Greg from the HOA, sweaty polo and all, showed up with a clipboard. Said Courtney had filed a complaint. Claimed I sabotaged her ride and caused emotional distress. I handed him a copy of the survey and said, "You want to talk about distress? My tomatoes are still recovering." But I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. I got help from Kyle, a nervous temp she hired for setup. Kid showed up on my porch with a hoodie and a flash drive. Said she made him dig stabilizer holes on my side of the fence. That was it. Proof of damage. Proof of intent. I sent it all to the county. Copied in the local news, just in case. Then came the grand finale. Courtney's Encore Zip event. Bigger, louder, more obnoxious. She even posted a teaser trailer. June 10th, the Sky Queen returns. Her guests gathered. DJ spinning, drones flying, and right as she leapt onto the line, boom! County truck rolled up. 2 officers stepped out. Calm. Stern. She zipped over my land mid-confetti explosion, and they watched it all. The second she hit the landing pad, soaked and beaming, they walked straight over, clipboard in hand. "Are you Courtney Langston?" She nodded. Then they served her. Violation of property lines. Ignoring a legal cease and desist. Unpermitted structure. Her face cracked like a dropped mirror. Darren tried to argue. One of the officers pulled up footage from Kyle's flash drive. Courtney's voice, clear as day. "Don't worry, it's just Vince." The crowd gasped. One person whispered, "She really said that?" They gave her 48 hours to take it all down or face daily fines and possible charges. The zipline, gone by morning. The pride. That lingered a little longer. And me? I sat on my porch with a cup of tea and a quiet that felt earned. She wanted to be queen of the sky, but forgot one thing. Airspace still has boundaries. So was that justice or just poetic gravity?